Lovely morning, or lovely afternoon, or lovely evening. We continue our journey with some tips to help you improve your English. When you hear these tips and you listen carefully to them, you will practice active listening and you will get the benefit of discovering maybe new recommendations to help you become a better and active and critical English learner. The next tip that we have in our bucket list is to find a comfortable, peaceful place for quiet study. You need somewhere where you can focus 100% in a peaceful place that is very quiet to focus on your study. But remember, don't get distracted in class. Focus on the lessons and don't stare out the window unless you need to take a break. And maintain consistency in your study. Remember, if you practice 5 minutes a day for 1 year is better than practicing 6 hours a day for 1 month. When you are on your own English course, be prepared ahead of time, because that is going to give you the impetus to move and improve. Once you have a basic level of English, try to explore the different ways you can use and say things. Don't get stuck with the basic grammar rules. Remember, English is very flexible. We have limited set of rules, but unlimited set of utterances or statements that people can use and say in various contexts, social ones. Nobody can learn all the English language. We can just barely touch the surface of that huge mountain. So there is no need to worry about trying a useful shortcut. Whatever tool you use for learning, it is going to be valid for your skills that you want to improve. And once you get to a satisfactory level, you can move to another level and another strategy. I need also to remind you about something very important, that you need to get a qualified teacher or mentor to help you and guide you, preferably an MA or PhD holder, because they have more depth and width of knowledge regarding the major. I want also to remind you that whenever you're trying to get a job, one of the basic elements of the job interview is going to ask you about how many languages you speak. The most important tip that I have is a tip that I follow myself. The best time for you to remember something that you want to do tomorrow is to read about it before you go to sleep. Read for 15 minutes or listen to something that has some sort of advantage to help you, push you forward in your learning before you go to sleep. That is the best thing you can do. Why? Because this is the best time the memory is going to remember things and document them as high significant parts. We talk always about speaking the language or practicing the language, but what I should remind you is to do the language. When we say, do you speak English? We need to do the language. And by doing the language, starting to activate all the things you know into practice. But you also need to unlearn your mistakes. You probably make the same grammar mistakes over and over again. So when using English test results as a study tool, it can give you an impression about your mistakes and how you can improve them. I use that in my TOEFL tests and in my IELTS test. I always highlight the weaknesses and work on that. Think about your strong and weak points and write down which areas you want to improve, and find every video on YouTube to treat the weak points that you have, and I'm pretty sure you are going to be a professional English speaker. Remember something, let me ask you this. Do you know how to fix a phone or to open an iPhone? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But just watching a person does it for 1 minute is going to give you sufficient amount of experience on how to open it. So you need to apply the same principle on language. You need to make sure exactly how to do the language, and that comes by definitely practicing again and again and again. These are a few tips that I wanted to share with you tonight, and I hope they are going to be useful in this podcast. In this podcast, we're talking about tips to improve your English. Thank you so much for your active listening. If you are listening to this podcast, you're practicing best English listening. Thank you so much. د.وليد